Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Vegan View. On today's episode, we have a longtime vegan content creator and the all-around amazing Sabrina. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
We're so excited.
Very excited. Because y'all been doing this for a minute, right?
We have.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard of the Vegan View. I'm like, this is genius.
Yeah.
Genius. So shout out to y'all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we would love to hear a little bit about your life. Where do you come from and what ultimately led you to veganism?
Okay, so I'm from New York originally. And you know what's funny? I had a friend, this was in 2004, 2005, who was vegan. And, well, she was mostly vegan, I'm gonna say that. She was vegetarian. And I grew up listening to punk and hardcore music, so vegan straight edge was a big part of the culture.
Yeah.
And but I kept saying as a Caribbean woman I could never do that.
Yeah.
I was I could never do that. Y'all bugging. I need to eat meat every day. Pause. And so I remember one day I'm 19 thinking this, about to be 20, and I'm how am I going to go forward in life doubting myself, saying I could never do something? Starting any sentence with I could never before you even attempt something is you're already failing.
Right.
No matter what it is, you're going to fail. So I thought of that and I was I don't want to be that person. Yeah. Let me try it out. And so I remember I told my mom, I'm hey mom, I'm not going to be eating meat for the next month maybe. She's oh, that's cute. I went through that phase. 17 years later.
Seems like the phase wasn't such a phase at all.
Yeah. I remember that day so vividly because she was oh, I'm gonna go pick up some tofu. I'm gonna make you some I'm gonna make you a rice, beans, and tofu, da-da-da. She got silky tofu. Oh, God. Didn't press it.
No.
So it just turned into this mush.
Oh.
And she was what happened? I was I don't know. But now she's a pro when it comes to vegan.
That's
food.
so great that she was excited about that.
She thought it was going to be a short amount of time.
Right.
She's I'll support this for now.
Yeah, for a week.
And then what got me to stick to it is that my skin cleared up, my asthma went away,
Wow.
I felt amazing. And then I watched Meet Your Meat on YouTube.
I haven't either.
Listen.
Yeah.
I said, oh, I'm doing this for life.
Yeah.
Oh, this is where I'm supposed to be because I'm so big on positive energy and just being a positive person and spreading good vibes everywhere I go that I think it's it's kind of contradictive if I'm absorbing pain, suffering, torture, dead flesh. It doesn't make any sense for me to contribute to this when I'm trying to be a positive person all around. And then I'm soft when it comes to animals. I look at them, I'm
I know.
so here I am.
Wow, that's so awesome.
Yeah, it's a good time. And then I went vegan in the greatest city on the planet. Yes, I know I'm in LA, but New York has the greatest vegan food ever.
Yeah.
And I will live on this hill. I don't care if I'm alone. I'm gonna die on it. I don't care. New York has the best vegan food ever.
You're not alone. I agree with you. I agree 100%.
Quickly, top 3 places that you would recommend someone who's watching.
Urban Vegan Kitchen.
Never been there. So good.
Uptown Veg in Harlem. Harlem has a lot of good vegan food. And Veggie Castle in Queens. Those are top 3. All Black owned. All amazing, delicious spots.
Wow.
The
Yeah.
Vegan View
The
takes
Vegan
New
View
York.
takes.
Yes.
Ooh, and Sabrina shows us around.
Yes. I am so
We're
down.
planning the next episode.
Let us know below if that's what you guys want to see here.
Yeah. No, Urban Vegan Kitchen is definitely one of my favorite spots that I go every single time I'm there. So,
and then, I mean, I'm going to just say it right now. LA is probably like number 5 in overall all cities. Because I feel like LA has options. Like, it's like quantity. But quality,
I agree.
Yeah,
I feel like people are like, oh, veganism's making money. Let me open up a restaurant. Vegan options, or just a vegan restaurant.
Right.
But they don't have any passion behind it.
Yeah.
They don't care about our taste buds like that. They're just like, here, just this will be good. And I'm also respectfully sick of burger spots.
Oh my God, I just talked about that. Like, we have 20 different burger spots in LA, and it's like, no, we need more diversity. Like, you know,
it's one of the most diverse cities in the world, and we don't have enough of that influence in this city.
Yeah.
Why do we just have a bunch of burger spots? I don't
doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's definitely not reflective of like what veganism is, like, at all. So you went vegan in 2005. That was a very, very different time.
It was.
So what was the reaction like? It sounds like your mom was pretty supportive, unlike most families.
Which is unheard of. Normally families are like, what are you talking about? What are you going to eat then? So it's like nice that your mom was like, okay, cool, this is a phase, but let's do this.
Really so cool. How was the perception from other people in your life at that point?
My grandmother thought I was going to die. And then my father and my uncle, my mom's brother, they like formed this alliance that were like, yo, I think Sabrina's worshiping the devil. And I'm like, what? And they like sat me down and talked about it. Like, are you worship? I was like, we have, like, this doesn't make any sense. I feel like you would have to sacrifice animals if that was the case. And I'm doing the opposite.
Wow.
And they were like, oh.
That's such a good point.
They're like, wait, I didn't think about that.
They didn't think, and then I was like, think about our family. Everyone has been diagnosed with cancer on my mom's side.
Wow.
Everyone.
Wow.
And it's not like some people, and a lot of people will be like, oh, cancer runs in your family. I'm like, no, recipes run in my family.
Yeah.
So it's like, I want to end that with me. I mean, I don't plan on having kids, so it literally ends with me. But I do want to be an example for everyone else. Everyone on my mom's side is also, they're all obese. They all have some food-related diseases that they're taking medicine for. Just all these things, and I brought that all to their attention. And my uncle, he even said to me, like, you know, I can never do that. I need to eat red meat, like, every day. And I told him, I was like, you're going to end up with colon cancer. A month later, he called me, and he was like, I'm so sorry. You're right. And he ended up getting diagnosed with colon cancer, and he called me for guidance. And he's still around, thank God, because he started taking in more greens and like vegetables, and he's more accepting of it. And he's still here because he got out of his own way. He's not vegan, he's not vegetarian, anywhere near that, but he's not consuming the same things that he once was.
It is so crazy to me that, you know, just from watching What the Health, that how the American Cancer Society is promoting that these people who are sick with cancer continue to eat diets that are filled with meat as their main source.
They make money off the medication.
Propaganda.
It's
propaganda.
awful.
Speaking of propaganda,
You really have to advocate for yourself when it comes to that kind of thing, and like, you know, do your own research and just also listen to your body. You know, like.
Every month for breast cancer awareness, everything with the pink bow actually causes cancer. When you think about it, like food-wise, it all causes cancer. So it's like, what are we doing here?
Because it's a business.
Yeah, you don't see it on fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. You see it on like the dairy products, like the yogurts and, you know, just random stuff that's like, all right.
It's just sick that they get away with that. It's just, and that the fact that the medical industry isn't like telling people like, this is not, like, stay away from this. This will cause cancer. Instead, they're like, oh, I have this medication that we can give you for.
It's just like when I go to the dentist's office and there's like a big thing of candy on the way out, and it's like,
seriously.
Oh my goodness.
It doesn't make any sense, but it makes all the sense actually.
It does.
Because I mean, they're just trying to keep the money.
Circulating.
Exactly.
And then doctors don't even have to really take nutrition. Like class.
No,
I know.
Yeah.
They don't know anything.
Yeah.
Like they'll know like the basics, like protein. You need it. Here, I think this is protein. Eat that. I'm I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
you know?
we had a nutritionist. She's a nutritionist, right? Studying to be, she's in school to be a doctor, right? Brooke?
Yeah, studying to be a doctor.
She's studying to be a doctor, and she told us that there's basically like no course on nutrition. Like, they don't teach them anything about that. And it's like, but that's the root of it all. How
That's
can
insane.
you skip right over that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or just, it works hand in hand. It's like, why, if your doctor maybe should always be teamed up with a registered dietitian who studied that for years and years and years, and like they can work together. Like the best experience I had with a doctor ever was a gut health doctor in Orange County, Dr. Angie Sadeghi, who also teams up with these plant-based dietitians, registered dietitians, who, she's gonna look at you from a medical perspective, make sure there isn't cancer, make sure there isn't like something like that needs to be medically treated, and then she's also gonna send you to the registered dietitians to talk to them about how you can improve your diet. And they're the experts. It would be great if we could see that all around.
But if that's the way that they operated and all of us were healthy and living and thriving, how are they going to make money?
Exactly.
Yeah. It is unfortunate, but not to backtrack too much, but we talk about the burger places in LA and how it's just like there's a huge lack of diversity. I would love to touch on that more, especially because you seem like you're very tied close to your culture, and like how important was that for you when going vegan to like see your culture represented in the movement and in the community?
I will say that Caribbean food is some of the most vegan friendly food ever, because like and when I tell that to other Caribbeans that aren't vegan or vegetarian or anything, that can't even like fathom that idea, I'm like, look at your plate and look at how much is on there. Now take away the meat, you still have a full plate.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Take away anything that has dairy. Like with Dominicans, we love Dominican potato salad, which is just potato salad with beets in it, so it's a purple potato salad. It's really good.
That sounds amazing.
It's really good. But you take all that away and you still have a full plate of food. You know what I mean? And so like I grew up obsessed with rice and beans and plantains, like mainly tostones, and sancocho, which is like a meat and root vegetable soup. But my mom makes it vegan. Oh my God.
Wow. What does she use as the meat replacement?
She doesn't.
Oh, wow.
And
she just leaves it out?
And it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's literally the most delicious thing ever. And we still have like this thing called pate con. There's like, so there, in Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, we have a lasagna, and instead of like pasta noodles, we use plantains.
Stop!
So sweet plantains layered.
That sounds so good.
So like she makes that with like Beyond Meat and stuff. And
that sounds so good. I'm about to cry. That sounds delicious.
So good.
Wow.
So yeah, it's amazing. Like that's what I would love to see is more Caribbean food out here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or just Caribbean representation in LA, period.
Yeah.
Because when I tell people where I'm from, they're just like, sure.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
You know?
You're like,
Which
what's the
is
enthusiasm?
a shame. LA is one of the most diverse cities in the world, and like, here we are, and we don't have representation. We have a million different burger spots, and like that's when people misinterpret what veganism is. They think, veganism is like fake burgers, fake meat, fake cheese, when it's like, no, there's so many different cultures who have been eating primarily vegan for many, many years.
Right.
And you can try new things, and it's going to be a different experience for you. Like it goes so much deeper than that.
It is so crazy how people don't even think about that. Like you said, you just take the meat away, you still have a full plate of food.
Yeah.
And people focus so much on, well, if you don't have meat, then
it's
what
not
are
a
you
meal.
gonna eat?
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Wow.
It's like you just how people don't think about that at all.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
And unfortunately, I
like
think there are a lot of like vegan creators too who like don't address the fact that veganism is like so ingrained in many different cultures, and it, like that unfortunately makes like what we call white veganism, which is just like this portrayal that like veganism is only from like, oh, I go to Erewhon, I go to Whole Foods, I eat this, I eat that, and like that is not like the only way to be vegan. Like it completely ignores like how many people have been doing this for so many different years.
Yeah.
Respectfully, I hate white veganism because I've dealt with white veganism for so many years that I hated when I would tell people I'm vegan and they're like, why are you doing that white shit? And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And like, I don't mind that, but it's just erasing my culture and who I am and what I'm so proud of and like what I've been proud of eating all these years and just being like, oh, you want some white shit? And I'm like, ugh, that doesn't make any sense. But I'm so happy that now we have so much representation. I love the fact that like, who is one of the most famous people, vegan or not, right now you can think of? Is
Tabitha Brown.
Yes. You know what I mean? She can go anywhere and people love her. And I love that for her because that's exactly who we needed.
Yes.
Like, we needed her. We needed somebody that's like, that we can see ourselves in and be like, oh, she gets it. Like, and she's not being accused of anything else other than being herself. And I'm like, yo, where the hell have you been? Well, I remember, I don't know, do y'all remember Tabitha back in the day? Like, her YouTube video when she made the TTLA.
And she went viral.
Oh my God.
Whole Foods.
I found her during like
quarantine
on Instagram because she's so soothing. I would just like watch her videos and be like, oh my God, this is the pure goodness that I needed in my life right now. She's
just like the warm hug we all need. I think that is like when she blew up was during, 2020, everyone's at home and like she was like the mother we all needed, just like a warm hug, just like good food, no judgment, and like I mean, I'm just so happy that she is where she is today because we all needed that.
Everyone needed that, especially at the time when you think about it. 2020 was rough,
dark.
It was really dark. Pandemic and just the racial issues and then just having somebody like her just like literally like a phoenix come out of the fire and just be who she is and like become everything she is today is just mind-blowing because like you've seen her from the beginning. I remember her from the beginning and just watching that because this was a slow come up for her. This has been years in the making of her just making videos and just cranking them out, and then just finally she found the voice that worked. And like because as content creators we're constantly like, all right, let's try this out, all right, let's try that out, all right, and then it's funny when you stop putting too much thought into it, that's when you blow up.
I love that like nothing she does can be taken from her either. Like there's a lot of Black creators on TikTok that get stolen from, like especially when it comes to like dancing and their choreography is not credited. Like Tabitha, no one can steal what she has. She is authentically herself. Nobody can try to copy her and then take that and like do what she does. Like you just can't do it. And it's so magical. It's like it was just the perfect storm for her to be where she is. Yeah,
it's amazing. But I also have to give a shout out to like the 3 guys that have also made it through white veganism is Tori Washington, John Lewis, Badass Vegan, and Doms, because they've been in the game for so long. Like there's so many times like back in the day where I've been friends with John from the beginning. Like it's been years, and so we would go to like vegan events together, and it'd be like 3 of us, but like 100, other. And
you could say
white.
You could say it.
But it was
skinny white girls.
White girls.
Hosting smoothie bowls.
Yeah, it was like a combination, and it almost felt like John always felt like the token Black guy. Like, look, like Black people could be vegan too. And like, and I would just be like, man, like you're better than me, because I'd be like, what the New Yorker in me wouldn't allow that, but like, I'm so proud of him because he never lost who he was. You know what I mean? He never lost him being him. I mean, he has his moments. I can say that. He has his moments, but I'm like, what are you doing, bro? But it's just amazing to see, you like people just coming through all that, because it's hard.
It's hard. It's not easy.
It's so hard. I remember one time I went to an event years ago, and this white girl came up to me, and I talk the way I talk. I'm very New York with it. And she was like, "Yeah, homegirl." I said, "No." I'm gonna go over here.
Oh
No.
Oh my God.
And that's when I realized, like, I want to be the change.
Yeah.
but I also don't have it in me.
The tolerance.
The tolerance.
There is this level of like tolerance, you know, like that then you're putting yourself, like John Lewis put himself in the fire. Like,
He did.
You know, it's not only is he advocating for veganism and for the animals, which is a fight on its own, that's so heavy, but then also on top of that, like dealing with like racial issues and like, you know, that is something that like I think during BLM, a lot of people just assumed every Black creator is going to be talking about the issues, and that's not fair, because that's something that affects you doesn't mean that you have to constantly educate people on it. Like, do your own education, seek out activists who are talking about it. And so like I think it's just such a shame that, like, you know, that is what white veganism creates, is this space where people don't feel comfortable coming and being their authentic self without having to be the token, you know, person of color.
Having to deal with people coming up to you and stereotyping you. It's like, or just the fact that they're putting the weight on you to be patient with them.
And just the uneducation of like how to talk to somebody. Like I just like,
who is she? Can we name her? Does she have a name?
Oh no, she's random white girl.
Random white
In my
girl.
story.
I was gonna say we can just name her.
I do get that a lot. I get the like all of a sudden like the lingo changes, the neck starts moving, and I'm like,
Ew.
like what's good? Like what's happening right now? Why am I watching?
Have you ever gotten into an Uber and like the Uber driver puts on they change the music to like hip hop? Yes,
they change, that happens all the time.
All the time. If not every time. They change the music when you get in the car. They're like,
they'll literally
hip hop,
they'll literally be like, Drake.
Like,
what?
Oh my god.
What just happened?
I get a lot of disco,
Shouldn't be
so what does that
surprised.
say about me?
So when you first went vegan in New York, like were there a lot of vegan restaurants yet?
Yes.
Or oh really?
There's this place called Food Swings in Brooklyn that was there for a while. It's no longer there, but it's like one of the first vegan spots. It's kind of like Champs, but like smaller. So they
Love
had
Champs.
like you know, wings and you know all the typical like junk food vegan stuff. Their milkshakes were everything, and ironically, that place was located on the same block I had my first birthday on. And I was like, this is such a full circle moment that the place I had my first birthday is like across from the place where I feel like reborn as a vegan.
Wow.
Is Food Swings. Shout out to Food Swings. Rest in peace, Food Swings, I should say. And then there's another place called Curly's Diner, which was around since the 80s. Vegan restaurant, vegan diner.
Veganism is not new.
It's not new.
Yeah.
Especially in New York. Like I said, like, veganism has been in the punk movement for so many years, and like you know, like the punk scene in general. And New York, old New York, is very punk. So it's like you know, you think of Morrissey, stuff like that. Like that kind of mentality was all over New York in the 80s and the 90s and stuff like that. So people were vegan for long before we can even think of the like wow, no meat, no dairy, like So they were figuring it out on their own. So there's Curly's. Next to that was Hotel Tortuga, which was like a vegan, vegetarian Mexican spot. I think they're still there on 14th Street. And then Dominican food and Puerto Rican food. You go to a Dominican spot for $5, you get a big plate of rice, beans, avocado, tostones, like mad stuff.
Really?
For $5.
That's amazing.
To this day.
I'm doing that.
And people say vegan food's expensive.
Right.
Another propaganda.
Absolutely. And then you go to like a Trinidadian place and you can get doubles. And I'm telling you, we need more Caribbean food because it's cheap too. It's really cheap. Like when people complain about veganism being expensive, I grew up in like a city where for $20 I can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Wow.
That's crazy.
And be good. And then I used to also walk up to like the falafel trucks or like the either the stands or whatever, and I used to be like, yo, let me get one falafel. Because sometimes I wouldn't want a full meal, and I'd be like, yo, let me get two falafels. I'm like, here's 50 cents. They'd be like, man, just take it. So it's like you can eat. You might have to hustle for some free food, but it's possible.
That is the most New York thing I've ever heard in my life.
I mean, you could get it done.
Do you find that New York is a good cultural representation, like more so, you know, like
absolutely. Because another large community in New York is Rastafarians. And
we just
talked to a Rastafarian.
Yes, so we never include them into the conversation, but these are the original vegans, and they've been around. Like Ital has been around forever. And there's Ital restaurants all over the place if you know where to look. And it's all vegan. And and it's delicious. Oh my God, it's so good. And then like that's another thing, like all through if you wanted good vegan food, you go to black neighborhoods. And a lot of people don't think that. Well, certain black neighborhoods, because I'm gonna say New York, because in other places, obviously food deserts exist. And they just don't care, like to put healthy food of any sort, regardless if it's a cultural or whatever. They just don't care. But yeah, Rastafarians, that representation. Let me see. There's like a lot of like cultures that go vegan for a little bit. So like you go to those restaurants.
Ethiopian.
Oh, there's so many Ethiopian restaurants. There's it's New York
so interesting to me because when people talk about New York, they always bring up LA. LA and New York are kind of mentioned together in the same sentence all the time. So it's like, why is LA not on the same page as New York when it comes to diversity in food and just having a better representation? Because I feel like we're just as culturally diverse here as New York is. I don't know.
You know who represents culturally, vegan wise? The Bay. The Bay Area.
Oakland.
Shout out to the Bay.
Going there. We need to do it.
I'm upset. I want to move there. I love the Bay. So there's a Puerto Rican restaurant, vegan Puerto Rican restaurant that's opening next month or September. It's a I guess a sister restaurant of Malibu's Burgers, which is owned by a Black and Puerto Rican couple. They just have more options up there. And it's like culturally, not more options, no. Nothing has more options than LA. You guys got that. Go ahead. Enjoy. But I mean, as far as like different kinds of foods. Even Malibu's Burgers as a burger spot is still one of the best burger spots I've had on the West Coast.
I mean, I was recently in Oakland, and I actually noticed that when I was like just looking at like Yelp and Postmates of like vegan spots. It's like there's a vegan Chinese food restaurant, like there's all, like so many different cultures that we don't really have a vegan Chinese food restaurant in LA. Like if we do, it's it's in the valley. It's in the valley, and it's there's a lot of sushi, there's a lot of Thai food, but like there really is
too much Thai. We don't need no more vegan Thai.
I know.
That's facts.
We don't need any more vegan Thai.
Or burger places.
It's all Thai or burger places.
Like sometimes I just want like a healthy, colorful meal, like when I don't feel like cooking or and I'm like, I'm gonna order out, and it's like literally burgers and Thai.
Those are the only options. No, I know it's kind of crazy because I'm kind of lazy when it comes to food. I order takeout more than I should. And like you said, burgers or Thai food, that's like what I go for. But it would just be nice to like expand a little bit and like try different flavors, try different, cuisine that I've never experienced. So
and be able to support like mom and pop restaurants. I mean,
100%.
That's I don't need to give my money to like these rich people that are just popping up a bunch of vegan burger spots. Like I'd way rather give my money to like a family that's like injecting their love and their culture and their heart into their food that they're providing. And I would love to have that here.
Well, I would love that too. Like there's this one place that I did go to up there called I think it's just Chef Reina. It's a Filipino spot up there, all vegan Filipino.
Stop it.
When I tell you, first of all, the block was adorable. It's a really cute neighborhood. But the food, it's Chef Reina. If you're watching this, we gotta throw hands because it's so good. The food is so good. Last time I was there, they just brought a whole bunch of different foods. Like they had lumpia, they had like they have pancit, all the like typical Filipino food. They have like the vegan version of it.
I was just saying how like Filipino food is like the one food that I never really eat because it's so meat heavy usually and like just not naturally vegan friendly, you know? So that sounds amazing.
I have a Filipino friend and she always is like, I could never be vegan. I couldn't do it because I love my culture's food. So it's nice to know that. So next time she says that to me, I can be like, actually
there's this
Sabrina.
Question: did you make your earrings?
I did make my earrings.
Can you please tell us about this?
So I make earrings.
Oh my god, I need those.
I am an introvert, but I know how to turn it off when necessary. I make it like, so I'm all about bamboo earrings is what I grew up on. And I realized that a lot of bamboo earrings are just typical name ones. So I was like, I want ones that really represent me and my personality. So I have like these introvert ones. I have ones that say like homebody.
That's so
I have ones that have that say like thick thighs, good vibes. And then I have some that like that say like plant mommy or plant hoe or like, you know what I mean? So yeah, I make all types of earrings.
Do you sell them?
I do. The second week of August.
Okay.
I'll be releasing all my new earrings. And
Wow.
I'm so excited.
If they're out, we'll link them down below for sure.
Appreciate you. I appreciate you. Yeah.
Wow,
And
that's
I'm
awesome.
all about like, because I feel like so many of us are introverts and like homebodies and like we have all these like things about us. So why not just wear it?
Yeah.
Why not just be proud of it?
Yeah.
I'm outside. This is an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to know when I walk out that door.
I think we relate as Earth
You're in good
signs.
company.
Yeah, you're in
Yes.
good company.
Literally, we never leave the house.
Yeah, this is our like one
I don't
outing of the
want-
month.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah. People are like, oh, so what do you do? I'm like, I go to the gym.
I couldn't even do that.
Grocery store.
Yeah.
I'm wild. Don't let
Yeah.
me go to a smoothie spot.
Okay,
She's crazy.
That sounds active. Yeah, that's a lot.
In one day.
Yeah, that's a lot in one day. That's a
That's a lot.
That's a huge
Yeah,
day.
Are most of the people in your life vegan?
Now they are.
She's got the secret.
She's got the secret.
I've been doing it for so long that I led by example, that a lot of people from my past are like, okay,
Yeah.
all
Do
right,
you
you're doing
find
something
that
right.
not really talking about it or being the one to bring it up and just living by example, that's what really like attracts people to it? Because I feel like the vegans that bring it up all the time and are always trying to be like, well, you're eating a dead body and blah blah blah, like I find that approach doesn't really seem to work.
I don't even like being around those vegans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, I get it. Like, I'm here with you. I get it, but shut up.
Yeah.
No, I know. I've had a couple friends go vegan, and they're also like, "Oh, you just never talk about it," and they are the ones always asking me questions about it, and I just will answer them, but I won't go any further than that.
Yeah.
And one of them is now vegan and has been for like 3-4 years, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah. So I find that that's.
I mean, we
the
talk
way to
about it
go.
with each other.
Yeah,
Because
of course.
you have to have that vegan
Oh, yeah.
community to just kind of like
Vent to.
Yeah, it's frustrating living in this world.
Oh,
sometimes.
our group
Our
messages
group chat.
go up, baby. If you don't think we see it, we saw it.
You should have seen it last night.
But like when it comes to interacting
Yeah.
with non-vegans, it's like I think we all have kind of found that approach is like
The way to go.
Yeah.
the best way to go. But I still haven't turned many people vegan or like inspired them.
How long have you been vegan?
6 years, almost
Oh,
7.
good time.
Yeah.
I can't lie.
Right.
The first 6 years is like, we'll see.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, I think a major factor is that I haven't aged much. And like when people ask, like,
Yeah.
what's your? Because I'll be 37 in August, and I still look like.
You're in your 20s.
Well, I still look. I looked at pictures of me in high school, and I was like, okay, not much has changed.
Yeah.
A little bit, of course.
Yeah.
I'm a grown ass woman now.
Yeah.
But like, it's not a lot. So like when people ask like, oh, what's your secret? I'm sure genetics obviously plays a role. But then I look at my family, I'm like, does it?
Right.
But I drink water, I mind my business, and I eat vegan food. That's
Minding
the
your
secret.
business. Minding your business.
Listen,
Definitely helps.
I mind my business, but if you tell me something, I'm all in. I'm gonna tune in. I ain't gonna talk about it after that, but I'm all, come to me with the gossip.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. But after that, I'm gonna be like,
You don't want to be involved. Yeah.
I don't want to be.
That's how I am. Yeah.
Don't involve me any further than just telling me the tea.
Yeah.
Tell me
I want to know the
tea.
tea.
And then we good. But yeah, I think stuff like that, and then also just being in like, you don't even have to be in the best shape of your life, just being in decent shape. People
Yeah.
are like, oh, is that because you don't eat again, veganism is not health. It's not health related.
It's not health related.
So like I did gain the quarantine weight.
Me too.
Yes.
All of us.
Yes.
Yeah. So like
eating all the burgers.
yeah, I was eating everything, and then I was laying down and I was playing Call of Duty. That was my life. I would eat, play Call of Duty, go to sleep, wake up.
We were
repeat.
just surviving.
Yeah, just existing.
Yeah.
And then towards the end, I was like, I should probably go for a walk.
Yeah.
And then I started going for a walk, and I was like, oh
Yeah.
this helps a little bit. But do y'all feel accidentally judgmental towards certain people that eat non-vegan foods and then complain as to why they feel a certain way?
Yeah.
And I'm talking about, when I say non-vegan foods, it's just certain things that I'm just like, bro, you can't be serious. Like I had this one friend recently who they're like, oh, I have stomach issues.
Yes.
Oh, I can't get in shape, this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't
But
use the
this
bathroom.
This man lives at Carl's Jr. And I'm like, bro, took him to a vegan spot. Oh, I can't eat that. I have stomach issues. You have stomach issues because you're not eating this.
Yes.
Oh my god.
It is so crazy to me when people are like, I can't be vegan because I have stomach issues, so I can't eat broccoli, I can't eat cauliflower, I can't eat beans. And I'm like, I had stomach issues and I healed my gut on all of those things.
You have to heal your gut.
Yeah.
You know, it's a process. Yeah, sure. Like the first time you eat that, your body's going to get used to it, but eventually that's going to be better than the meat that you're eating. Absolutely. Like,
and it's so disturbing how normalized it is. Like I have friends who will finish a meal and be like, oh, I feel so sick. And it's like, that's not normal.
It's not
you should
normal.
feel nourished. You should feel good. You should feel energized.
Yeah.
Not like, oh my God, I feel so sick. I need to go lay down. It's like, that's not what eating is for.
Yeah.
it's so hard to bite your tongue in those situations.
I
too.
know.
It's
I
like,
don't sometimes.
How do you feel about like the vegans who like they stop being vegan and then they try to go viral about it?
It's been a hot topic.
we could talk about it in every episode.
Let me tell you.
Have you seen that?
Oh,
Like the ex-vegans?
let me tell you, my favorite era in vegan Twitter, right, is, well, one was 2020 during like BLM, like people getting outed. Shout out to everybody who shut down Thug Kitchen and stuff like that. But I will say, like just calling out all these vegans. Who was that one girl? I don't know. Can we drop names?
Yes,
The one who
yes.
ate fish.
Oh,
Ravana.
there's so many.
Oh,
Ravana.
Ravana. Yo, let me tell you, girl. What's so frustrating is that people will look at these vegans and be like, oh, they're skinny, they're goals, they're this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, my thick ass, I just want some. I'm eating and I'm trying to get out there like on the vegan side of things, but I just kind of stick to like comedy and like just being myself and silly. But it's like I'm now starting to venture off more into like more vegan content again. But it was seeing people like that who possibly not only are they not fully vegan, but I think they hide a disorder behind the word vegan. I guess trigger warning, I don't want to like trigger anybody with this conversation.
Right.
But I do feel like a lot of times, like if you're gonna hide behind cleanses, because you have a disorder and then all of a sudden you're sick and you're like, I don't know what's wrong, it's got to be veganism. Don't blame that on veganism. Blame that on yourself, on not realizing that you weren't feeding yourself nutritionally, and you're not getting all your proper like protein and
vitamins.
Like the macros, you know what I mean? Like you need all of that, but they would just be like, no, just cleanse. I'm like, you can't cleanse twice a month.
Right.
But people would look at them and be like, it's goals because they're skinny, they're outside, they look like they're living it up, they're on vacation all the time, it's always colorful in their videos. These are all the things. I feel like this idea of perfection that they were selling is what drew people in. But veganism isn't perfect.
No.
Vegan people are people.
And
if you're following somebody and their life seems to be perfect,
run.
Red flag.
Yes.
I ain't gonna lie to you, that's not it.
It's so I'm very outspoken about this because it's one of my most frustrating things about vegans like this, and maybe I'm not as compassionate when I talk about it because luckily I haven't struggled with, my veganism is strictly like ethical, like it's about the animals, like I don't want to harm animals, but it drives me insane because I feel like I can see it, I can spot it when like the ex-vegans come out and they're like, I was losing my hair and I was this and that, and they're so passionately talking against it, and it's like, it's because you had a disorder, you were not actually vegan, you were not doing it for the right reasons, and you probably were not nourishing your body, and it's so frustrating because it is such a sensitive topic, but like when it drives me crazy because I'm like, you are causing so much harm right now by not acknowledging the root of what your problem is, and just putting the vegan label on it and saying that it's because you were vegan, when that's not the case.
I do hope that era is kind of over, and I mean, I think it's still always going to be around, like, you know, the clean girl trend on TikTok and stuff, that's always going to be appealing to people to an extent, but I do think that like a lot of people, especially after like everything that we've gone through for the past few years, are looking for something a little more realistic. They're looking for something to relate to. They want to see real, authentic people, and I think that's like, you know, going back to Tabitha, that's one of the things that, like, you know, she is not a perfect person, you know, she's real. She talks about like things in her life that, you know, have happened that are not perfect. Even in her recipes, if she like puts too much seasoning, she's like, oh, we're gonna work with it, like, you know, she makes it work still, and like that imperfection is so endearing and appealing, and I just hope we move away from this, like, you know, people wanting to be perfect and being attracted to this perfection, because it's just not real. Like, most vegans don't look like Ravana, they just don't, you know, like
I do want to bring something up. You mentioned like the clean girl aesthetic.
Go ahead, go off. I already know.
It popped up into my head.
We've already talked about this before amongst each other. It's insane.
So we're gonna call wearing hoop earrings and slick back hair clean girl. So what happens to all the black women who've been dressing like that, to all the Latinas who've been dressing like that? This has been a cultural look for so long. And it was called hood, it was called ghetto, it was called this, that, and the third. But now you clean with it. Now we cleaning it up. Like, oh, let's clean this up. We clean, we showered today. Like, why is it clean, first of all? Why do we call it clean girl aesthetic? Which is so weird to me. But it's just literally looking, I feel like black culture and black hood culture has been recycled so many times and then put out in like a different package that's more acceptable,
palatable
to people. Like people are like, oh, I can deal with this, and it's so annoying.
It's so
because it's the same thing that I'm sure like growing up would, like, you know you would get made fun of for, or like get called out for, and like, and then white people do it, and then now all of a sudden, like, it's cool. It's an aesthetic. And like, give credit where credit's due. Like, stop acting like you invented this. And like, white people, like, you know, I'm included in this because I'm white, but like take things from other cultures all the time and neglect where it comes from. Like, it's
grills.
The worst part of it is
and
like
Ayurvedic foods, and not crediting like and yoga, and not crediting like where that comes from, and all of a sudden it's trendy,
It's and not to mention that those same white people who are now stealing that and whitewashing it are probably the people who made fun of it.
That's
and bullied people for doing that. Like wearing the hoop earrings and the slick buns and whatnot, and just like made fun of it.
That's the hardest part.
It's the hardest part.
I grew up feeling weird in certain rooms. I walk into certain rooms and I'm like, all right, do I have to switch up how I talk? Do I have to like not talk so like aggressively, or like with so much of an accent? I've learned how to hide my accent, but when I get excited, it's out. Ain't no hiding it. I'm excited.
We love it.
But and then like even how I look, like my hair is naturally just curly and big, and I remember growing up, my mom would be like, "Oh, are you gonna brush your hair?" And I'm like, "But it is brushed." But like, no, you can't go outside like that. And then like then started the cycle of straightening my hair and having and presenting a different way, and presenting when I walk into certain places as respectful. And then I grew up in the whole like, this is professional. This is what professional looks like. I'm so glad that that's dying on. Like professional hair.
Shout out to the Crown Act.
Yes. But like, I grew up with all of that, and then just hearing the stuff I would hear, and now seeing those same people reaching out to me, like, girl, I love the way Facebook, girl. All the people from high school, I'm like, hold on, you was not messing with me back then, but now all of a sudden, like, you want to catch up with me and you want to say, oh, you look cute, you
have followers now too, and so they're like
I know, and it's so weird. So it's like, if you're gonna take this aesthetic and just apply it to your life, don't rename it.
Yeah.
I mean, don't name it. Just be like, hey, like, this was my influence. And don't post other people who are doing the aesthetic. Yeah. Post where it came from. Yeah. Like, post the originators.
Yeah.
And then that's it. That's all we're asking for. We're not asking for, like, hey, you don't do it at all. Yeah. It's just like, respect where it comes from.
Especially when those things have been like negative, you know. Yeah.
The thing I love about TikTok is those clean girl aesthetic videos, like, they're toxic even to me, because I see these girls posting like certain things and I'm like, oh, I don't have my life together, I'm a mess, like, look at this girl, like, I need to live like this. And that aside, at least people on TikTok call people out, because I see comments all the time like, oh, you invented hoop earrings, what about Latina, you know, people are all over the comments. So I'm just happy that people are finally like calling it out. So hopefully that kind of dies down.
I mean, I think that's what we have to do. We have to like call out and like
But I will say that it's way more helpful when white people call other white people.
Oh yeah.
So like, because
that's not happening enough.
Yeah, allies are important because their voices are often more respected than the people who have to, like, in all cases, whether it's like Black, gay, trans, anything. Allies are so important in every single movement because the allies are the ones who are the people that look like them or feel like them or whatever the case is, are the ones that are going to only listen to familiar faces or like familiar energy or whatever you want to call it. So that's why it's so important that allies speak up. Period.
Yeah, I agree. I think that white people who get called out by a Black person for doing something, they make it us versus them. Kind of
why is everything about race?
And they don't listen. They're not receptive to it, and they're able to make this separation, like, and make themselves a victim in a situation. But if it's two white people calling each other out, it's like, you actually have to listen, because you can't be like, oh, you just don't get it because we're different, you know, because you're Black and I'm white, and that's why. So you're right.
I think it's Rachel Cargill on Instagram. She has like an amazing, I'm pretty sure it's her. It's an amazing account where she like, for a while was doing like these, like, she would screenshot comments of like, you know, a Black person maybe calling out a white person on something and the white person's response, and she would like circle and like write like the different things. Like, it's so predictable, like the way the defense like
they instantly make themselves a victim.
And like the steps that follow are so predictable. But again, like, that's traumatizing to have to like interact with somebody in that way. And so that's a wonderful reminder to just like call each other out when we see injustices happening, and especially in the vegan movement too as well. Like, you know, we can't like continue to perpetuate this white veganism, because that's not gonna help the end goal, which is to save the animals. Like, if we continue to like shut entire cultures out of the movement.
The conversation.
And it's so interesting that you brought up Badass Vegan. His name's John. Yeah. So I would see him at festivals back in the day. I've been vegan for 12 years, so I would see him like way back in those festivals. And I never thought of it from his perspective. I was just like, oh, I see him on social media, whatever. But it's like how difficult it must have been for him to be there and be like the token Black guy that everyone's like, oh, look, see, you can be Black. Vegan.
We're in LA. Like, why is he the only Black vegan creator at that event?
Maybe
like,
he's
that's
the only one that's like willing to put himself in the fire and deal with that criticism and be seen that way.
And so we have to ask ourselves as white vegans, like, why are we not making this an acceptable place for people to feel like, you know, from wherever they come from, that they feel safe and accepted, and that like we are all in this together.
Like talking about like the comments and stuff. As vegans, we hear the same thing over and over. You're not unique. We get it. You're gonna eat an extra burger. We understand. All right. You're gonna eat double the meat because I exist. All right. Oh, you can never do it. Got it. Your grandfather. Got it. All these things. Like, I just want to say to non-vegans, we've heard it.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
We've heard it all.
We've heard it all. Guess what? Still standing, boo. Still vegan. Still here.
Vegan.
You're unoriginal. Come up with better materials.
Yes.
You're hearing the same shit recycled.
Yeah.
Over and over. And then also, if you ask me a question, if you ask me why I'm vegan, and I answer why I'm vegan, don't get mad at me.
Yes.
Don't be triggered by your own question.
Right.
Every time. They don't actually want to hear the answer.
They don't.
Yeah.
It's that guilty conscience.
Yeah, and then they're like, wait, am I doing this? You know what? You're wrong. I'm like, whoa, wait, hold on. And then when I'm answering the question, like, I'm sick of you vegans trying to push it on everyone. Don't talk to me then. What are we doing?
Right.
Like, what are we
Why are
doing?
you even here?
Yeah.
You asked the question.
I don't follow content I don't like. I don't comment on people's stuff that I don't like.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
what it
so
is.
weird. I mean, and I get it. Like, my page is not a vegan page. It's just a vegan woman being
yourself.
me.
Yeah.
But I'm very passionate about being vegan.
Yeah.
I'm like
love
vegan,
Yeah.
and it's like, and it's not just for one thing. Obviously, the animals play a major factor, but I'm also vegan for the people who have to watch their family die and suffer because of food-related situations, and like. I'm vegan to show people that you don't have to continue this cycle of just like sickness. Just because you don't want to lose your culture and you don't want to lose who you are and you don't want to disrespect your family. Your ancestors would appreciate it if, in my mind, would appreciate it if you fought to continue to live, because the foods that we are eating today is not the foods that like our family was eating decades ago, and especially the meat.
That reminds me too, like, I mean, I even said something, I think a few sentences ago about how like it's for the animals, like, but what we talk about all the time is that veganism is a social justice movement, and you can't, and that where white veganism does come in, I do think it's like a lot of white vegans are like, for the animals, for the animals, for the animals, ignoring like the fact that veganism is so closely tied to racism and like perpetuates, you know, if you are, you know, going to be vegan, like you have to be against all of these, you know, you have to stand for all of these other social justice movements because they're all tied together. If you're going to stand for equality, it has to be, you want the animals to have equality, but you have to want that for people as well. Well, I think we should end on a positive note. So we like to ask our guests what their like one meal is, their one favorite meal that they, if they could only choose one meal to eat the rest of their life, what would it be?
It would be rice, beans, tostones, like a vegan version of carne guisado, or sancocho. Oh, damn, that's a lot of food. And then flan. No, tres leches. No. I have to have dessert involved.
Yes.
Oh, you do?
I have to.
Yeah.
Are you a dessert person?
Oh my god. I'm one of those people that my last bite, no matter how full I am,
Has to be sweet.
like, I can go for something sweet. Even if I can't actually go for something sweet, I'm gonna go for something sweet because I'm just programmed that way.
I get that too.
I'm just programmed. Like, if I had to choose between like dinner and dessert, I can go with dessert. And just and go to sleep happy.
Wow. I love that.
I love it.
I love that.
Yay.
That sounds amazing. Now I'm hungry.
I know.
I'm starving.
Well, thank you so much for this. This was a great conversation. I really appreciate it.
Thank
you for being
here.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
If y'all need an extra person, you know.
Yeah.
Do you ever want to come guest host when one of us is out of town?
Listen,
Yes.
I'm for it.
Okay, perfect.
Yay, awesome. Well, definitely keep up with Sabrina, please. We will link all of her social media links in the description box down below so you guys can go give her some love. And we will see you next week for another episode. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok and join our Facebook group. And we will see you next week for another episode.
Bye, guys.